After buying dozens, if not hundreds of AliExpress cycling upgrades, these, in my opinion, are the 5 best bike upgrades that you can actually buy to make you faster on the bike. When it comes to speed on a bike, weight is important. So much so that a lot of cyclists are very happy to spend $40 on shaving off a few grams and upgrading their aluminium bottle cage to a lightweight carbon bottle cage, or spending an extra $3,000 on the carbon frame rather than the heavier aluminium frame. But in my opinion, for many cyclists, the best way to shred the weight on your bike is shredding the weight on yourself. And that's where the Anker Eufy C1 Smart Scale come in. So exactly 12 months ago, I weighed 79 kilograms. And for context, I'm 183 centimeters. So I wasn't exactly overweight, but I did have a bit of extra belly fat that I wanted to lose and just kind of get fitter, more in shape. So I did 2 things. The first thing was I bought this smart scale and I made a habit of every morning, as soon as I get out of bed, I'd step on the scale, because the Anker Eufy C1 is a smart scale. It automatically logs your weight. So you can see in the app, more than a year ago, on the 31st of May, the day that I bought these scales, I weighed 79.1 kilograms. And sure enough, I lost 4 kilograms quite quickly and dropped to 75 kilograms, which I thought was a good, healthy weight to stabilize at. But then I was training for a marathon and I suffered quite a bad knee injury, which stopped me from running, it stopped me from cycling, even swimming. And I was basically just sat at home most of the day. And sure enough, my weight increased over Christmas for 2 months, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing because I did need to rest my knee. But after 2 months, I started training again and I got back on top of my weight, which I've been consistent with at about 74 to 75 kilograms ever since. Now, a smart scale is so effective at helping lose weight because once you have the habit of stepping on the scale every single morning, the graph pops up in the app on your phone and you see whether you've lost weight or whether you've put on weight or whether you've maintained a steady weight. So as they say, you can't improve what you don't measure. And without regular weigh-ins, it's surprisingly easy to find yourself kind of heavier than you'd have liked before you even realize it's happening. It's funny because I actually featured this weigh scale on a video that I uploaded a while ago, like 8 months ago. And someone with the username Saxtu left a very kind comment saying, "Mike, I watched this video of yours about 3 months ago and immediately purchased a set of used Eufy C1 scales off eBay for £13. I upped my daily routine to 20 miles a day, 1 hour 5 minutes, cut out crisps, biscuits, chocolate bars, and added bacon, eggs, and tuna. And so far, I've lost 4 kilograms and the weight loss is heading downwards gradually but consistently. Those scales are totally amazing and the data from them delivers so much more than I could have imagined. A big thank you for highlighting all of your products and stuff." That comment made my week. The fact that something that I recommended in a random cycling video has had such a positive effect on someone's life, amazing. And he's right, a simple smart scale can really help you lose weight and therefore ride faster on the bike. There are also many other metrics that the scale measure, like weight, BMI, body fat percent, muscle mass, even water percent. I honestly don't really pay much attention to these. I do question how accurate the body fat percent is, for example. And also it says my body mass percent is low at 4.5%, but then it says the average bone content for adults is 3 to 5%. So not sure if that's a bug in the app, but nonetheless, it's nice to see the trends, whether they're going up or they're going down. Anyway, to lose 4 kilograms in about 40 days, I mentioned I did 2 things. The first thing was I bought the smart scales. The second thing, I got myself a personal trainer, and every week I sent him pictures of all the food I ate that week, how much exercise I did that week, and a screenshot of my Smart Scale app to see how much weight I'm either losing or putting on. So those two things, a Smart Scale and a personal trainer to keep me accountable, that is what I needed to lose 4 kilograms in about 6 weeks. So I couldn't find these specific scales that I bought from AliExpress. They might have sold out. So I did put a link to the best reviewed Smart Scale on AliExpress with an average review rating of 4.7 out of 5. Apparently, it's down from $48, a 71% saving. I'm not sure how genuine that saving is, but nonetheless, $14 for a well-reviewed Smart Scale that could help you lose quite a few kilos like it did for me and make you significantly faster on the bike as a result. Quick disclaimer, of course, if you're considered underweight, then this AliExpress cycling upgrade tip wouldn't be so healthy for you. Or maybe you could do it in reverse, right? Buy a Smart Scale to help you track your weight to put on more weight. Anyway, the next cycling upgrade could be helpful for everyone. It is the 2025 upgraded RideNow TPU tube. So I featured the original RideNow TPU inner tubes on my channel in a previous video, quite a while ago actually, because I really do think they're amazing. For me, most importantly, they're smaller than the butyl tube, so I can actually fit these inside the frame of my Trek Domani in case I do get a puncture, but they're also lighter than butyl tubes. They have a faster roller resistance and they're the same price. So it's like, why would you go for these if you can go for these? But now they're even better. The upgraded RideNow TP tubes are more serviceable and robust because they have an aluminium valve stem rather than a plastic valve stem that the older model had, so they feel a lot more durable. They also have removable valve cores, which the previous TPU tubes didn't. Now, the upgraded TPU tubes, they've not been out for that long, but they've already sold over 1,000 on AliExpress with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5. So at $10, it's a pretty safe buy. Now, normally when I talk to you about a product that I bought on AliExpress, I'll show it to you in my hand while I'm talking to you. However, with these new upgraded TPU tubes, I don't actually have them. These are the old ones. The reason is, the new ones are so new, they only have them for size 32 tires, and I'm using 28 tires. I even asked the customer service to confirm, and they have confirmed that they don't have them. So I haven't bought any yet, but as soon as they launch in the size that I need them, I'll be one of the first in line, and I'll drop a link in the description and you can check for yourself if they have them in stock in your tire size. Staying on the topic of tyres, we have the Elitewheels ENT 2.0 carbon wheels. So this is the speed upgrade that probably made the biggest improvement to my bike in terms of aesthetics. So I just think the 50mm carbon wheels look so much better than Trek's Bontrager 21mm rims that came stock. But more importantly, they made my bike a lot lighter, more aero, and more comfortable. So firstly, the weight difference is noticeable. The stock Bontrager wheels on my Trek Domani SL5 weighed in at 2,100 grams for the pair, while the Elite wheels come in at 1,620 grams. So that's about 500 gram savings. Now, 500 grams isn't that much, but when that weight is in your wheels, it does make a fair bit of difference to acceleration, in particular climbing. But the aero benefits are where these wheels really shine. The 50mm depth cuts through the air much more efficiently than the shallower 21mm stock rims. I'm not claiming that I'm suddenly 5 kilometers an hour faster, but on longer rides where you're maintaining steady speeds, the aero advantage is real. I actually just bought a set of aero bars as well for the bike because I'm training for another Ironman 70.3, which is in exactly 6 months from now. So it makes sense to have both aero wheels and aero bars. What surprised me most though about these carbon wheels is the comfort improvement though. So I was expecting these wheels to be harsher than the aluminium ones, but it was actually the opposite. And I think because the carbon construction does a better job at dampening road vibrations, so my hands and arms just feel slightly less fatigued after longer rides. The build quality on these Elitewheels is impressive for the price point, and the reviews on the AliExpress store back this up with over 2,000 sales and 307 reviews averaging 4.9 out of 5. The hubs spin smoothly, the spokes are properly tensioned, and after 6 months of regular use, including some pretty rough roads, there are no chips and there are no scratches. So I've really had no problem with them at all, and around $350, $400 from AliExpress for a set of carbon wheels, they're actually very affordable for carbon wheels. Saying that, they're not going to be as super lightweight as a set of $1,000 plus zip wheels, for example. So do keep that in mind. And if you do grab a pair of these wheels, make sure that you buy from the authorized dealer on AliExpress. I'll drop a link in the store below. So just a few weeks ago, I completed my first ever Ironman 70.3. I was training for a good, I would say 9 or 10 months. And I learned that probably the #1 risk of me not completing the Ironman or missing the event or not achieving the time that I set out to achieve was injury, right? That is by far the biggest risk, in my opinion, to any cyclist. I mentioned earlier in the video that I had a knee injury about, 5 months out for my Ironman, and I had to stop all cycling, all running for like 1 to 2 months. So now I have a daily habit of stretching every morning with these sets of resistance bands. So I have these set, which are obviously quite small, and I have this set of resistance bands, which are obviously a little bit stronger. So firstly, I'll say this, because I reckon some of you can relate. I find stretching really boring. I try to entertain myself with YouTube videos while I'm stretching, but still, it's not the most fun thing to do. However, since I started stretching, I've genuinely not had any knee injuries or back and neck pain, touch wood, which I used to be quite prone to. So I have these 2 sets of resistant bands. I think I bought them for about $7 for this pair and about $7 for this pair. I'll drop links in the description below to see the updated prices, but that's about as good of an investment as you can get. $7 or $8 to potentially stop you from having to bail before a race because of injury. But there's no point in buying these bands if you're not actually going to use them, right? If they're just stuck in a drawer collecting dust. So I now have a daily habit of doing 15 minutes of stretching every morning, and I use Habitify, which is an app to track the habit, meaning to actually track that I'm doing it. So I have their widget on my phone. So from my home screen, I just swipe right and I see the widget. If I've done my stretching for that day, the widget will show a green square, and if I miss a day, it'll have a big fat cross staring at me, which I don't want. And that in of itself is motivation enough to actually do my stretches. I also use the app Bend, which shows me which stretches to do. Both of these apps are available on Google Store and Apple Store. And Bend helps with counting, so I don't need to use a timer. And I like this app because I like not having to think, kind of like zoning out or even meditating when stretching. And the app Bend acts as essentially my personal trainer for stretching, I guess. So you can choose one of these pre-made stretches focusing on specific areas of the body, or you can create a custom 15-minute stretch like I did, where I focus on the areas where my body is most prone to injury. I use the free versions of both of these apps, Habitify and Bend, and I'm also not affiliated with either of them. I just thought that I would share, as someone who hates stretching, how I managed to stretch with these bands every day consistently for months. Because at the end of the day, to get faster on your bike, you need to train more. And the one thing, at least for me, that will stop me from training for weeks, even months at a time, unfortunately, is injury. So if I can avoid injury, I can continue training, I can continue getting faster on the bike. I also have this block. Again, I'll put the links in the description. I also have this rolling thing, which is quite nice because you can take this out and you have another roller here. So it's kind of like a 3-in-1, which is quite nice. And I also have a yoga mat here, which honestly, I don't use this much. I use this the least out of all of these kind of stretching accessories because I just go on the floor. I don't mind if the floor's a little bit hard. A general rule of thumb that is quite widely accepted in order to cycle faster is you need to train more, right? But what about those days where you know you need to go and train, but you just don't feel like it, right? You just do not have the energy to go out on your bike and start pedaling. And that's where Crazy Nutrition Intensive Pre-Train Formula 2.0 comes in. So I've been using this pre-train supplement for maybe the last 4 or 5 months now. I don't use it every day, but those occasions when I need to train but I'm feeling low in energy, I'll take a scoop of pre-train powder, I'll drop in some water, I'll mix it up with my blender, and within 20-30 seconds, it's ready to drink. It includes 13 natural ingredients, including 7 grams of citrulline malate for better blood flow, 2.5 grams of beta-alanine to reduce muscle fatigue, 200 milligrams of caffeine paired with N-extra, which is an ingredient made from Thai ginger extract for smooth energy without jitters. It also includes ashwagandha, which research suggests may improve VO2 max at the 300 milligram dose included here. So when I drink it, it usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes before I feel the kind of initial energy boost with peak effects around the 30-40 minute mark when you're supposed to be kind of starting your cycling workout. The timing makes sense because most pre-workouts with caffeine typically kick in within 15 to 30 minutes, and the N-extra component in here is specifically designed to provide smooth, sustained energy without the typical caffeine jitters or crash. Now, this is a bit of a bonus item in this video because Crazy Nutrition don't have an AliExpress store. Instead, you can buy direct from them, which does help keep costs down. They did provide me with this sample unit for free to test out, but they're not paying me any money to talk about them. I also have Crazy Nutrition's Ultimate CRN5 Creatine, which combines 5 grams of creatine with added electrolytes, including magnesium and calcium. The electrolyte addition is smart because it helps essentially avoid dehydration issues that sometimes comes with other creatine. Unlike typical creatine, no loading phase required, and for cyclists, creatine shines during those kind of short, intense efforts, so sprint finishes, hill attacks, or interval training. And studies show that it can reduce muscle soreness by up to 84%, meaning better recovery between hard sessions. Both supplements contain well-researched ingredients and both actually taste really good. The pre-workout could genuinely help with endurance and power output during longer rides, while the creatine would benefit those kind of high-intensity efforts like climbs or sprint training. And as with every product I mentioned in this video, I'll drop an affiliate link in the description below. And if you like this video, you can click on this card right here to check out a video I uploaded a few months ago called 15 Other Incredible Cycling Accessories from AliExpress. Alternatively, click on this playlist to watch all my AliExpress cycling gear review videos back to back.